President Trump has threatened to ban the Chinese-owned video streaming app TikTok if it's not bought by September 15th.
TikTok is a social media platform that's been on just about everybody's tongue as of late.
We've never seen anything quite like it, have we? Of course, TikTok, the incredibly popular social media app here in the U.S. And around the world. ByteDance, its owner.
Donald Trump announcing a ban on a very popular social media app called TikTok.
One of the world's fastest growing social media platforms is posing a threat to our national security. TikTok is facing a possible ban in Australia.
If you didn't know about it before, you've at least heard about it by now. Allow us to bring you up to speed on the rise and possible fall of TikTok.
TikTok began as an app called Musical.ly, which was created in China. This app had a great turnout. However, China decided to merge Musical.ly with their app called Douyin, which affords more creativity than simply lip-syncing capabilities. Thus, TikTok was born.
Forbes reported that 60% of TikTok's demographic is Generation Z. This is everyone who was born after the year of 1996. And this group of young people have been raised in the dawn of social media's glory days, right? When social media is at its height, is at its highest, it's the most popular. And these young people have had contact with some form or shape of social media, right? And it's allowed them to express themselves freely, even on a platform like TikTok.
That's right. That's why TikTok is so popular, because of the lip syncing, the dancing, and even the comedic skits. But again, it's not just that. The platform has diversified, and the young people are the ones who have really embraced this platform. The older generation and the United States government, not so much. So why is TikTok so controversial right now, Richard?
Well, it has come under scrutiny from the Trump administration, specifically even Donald Trump himself. He wants to ban this app completely from the United States because he's saying that, there's some privacy concerns, right? There's even an article from NPR, and it says, according to NPR News, there has even been a class action lawsuit claiming that TikTok was stealing kids' data, and notice what it says, and sending it to China. What type of data does the TikTok app collect?
TikTok is collecting a lot of data. I mean, a lot. In terms of its terms of service state, I'm going to quote now, that it collects contact details, content you create, and your location. It collects, I'm still quoting, from third-party social network providers and technical and behavioral information about your use of the platform. And it collects information contained in the messages you send through the TikTok platform and information from your phone book. That's a lot of data.
So as Senator Josh Hawley said, we can see that TikTok is collecting your location, your search history, camera information, all of those things on your phone. I mean, for a Chinese-based app, that is concerning.
This will be my final question for you. How can we ensure that TikTok or other Chinese tech companies aren't Trojan horses that are gathering data on Americans and then sending that information back to China to be collected and gathered and used for the Beijing government's purposes?
So you're asking me how we can ensure that? I'm not sure we can. The law that I described simply requires access. And anyone who thinks that a Chinese company, even if they have an American portion of their company, can look at the government in Beijing and tell them no, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how the government in Beijing works.
Thank you very much. Senator Whitehouse.
And even in that hearing, they stated that the data that they're collecting can be used to train AI technology and even autonomous weapons. Not only that, but also in China, the government is communist. So although TikTok is saying, yeah, we're not going to give it over to the government, if the government came knocking on their doors, what would stop them from obtaining the U.S. data?
What has the US and even Australia done to prevent foreign intelligence from collecting data?
The more data it has on individuals, what they do, why they do it, who they are, the more it can create artificial intelligence based on that data.
It might explain why the Australian Defence Force recently joined the US military in barring TikTok from all work devices.
I support it 100%. And I would go so far as to say not just work phones or devices, but also personal devices. Espionage can be conducted on social media platforms. We have to be far more cautious about all these tech platforms.
The US has banned the use of TikTok from all military work devices. The American government has placed restrictions on their staff and children from having the app on their phones. If the US does not ban TikTok, it could be placed on an entity list, which would fine companies such as Google and Apple for having it on their Play stores. TikTok has been banned in India, and there are conversations in Australia to ban the platform. However, Microsoft is in conversation with TikTok and the US to buy it out and to bring its control to American soil.
Here's the deal. I don't mind if, whether it's Microsoft or somebody else, a big company, a secure company, very American company, buy it. It's probably easier to buy the whole thing than to buy 30% of it, because they say, how do you do 30%? Who's going to get the name? The name is hot. The brand is hot. And who's going to get the name? How do you do that if it's owned by two different companies? So my personal opinion was you're probably better off buying the whole thing rather than buying 30% of it.
On August 6th, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that will prohibit any transactions with ByteDance. The Wall Street Journal reports that the executive order grants a 45-day deadline for an American company to purchase the U.S. operations of TikTok. If no purchase has been made, TikTok will officially be banned in America as of September 20th.
What has TikTok done to try and build trust?
Well, they've tried to Americanize and Westernize themselves in order to appease to not only the Gen Z, the millennials, but all Americans at large. They've offered $1 billion as well to creators as incentives to join TikTok.
That's right. And even in LA, they have a headquarters. They have made the CEO an American. And on top of that, they said that they plan to add 10,000 additional American workers to that plant.
TikTok now has an American CEO, 58-year-old Kevin Mayer, who is also the COO of ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company. But while Mayer is American, some experts say he still must answer to the Chinese executives who ran the company.
Now, the other thing that they did, which is unprecedented for any social media platform, they have stated that they are going to make known their algorithm. Now, that's big because, one, it could open the potential for hackers to hack it, but also they are saying, we have nothing to hide. We're going to share with you our algorithm so that you, the US, and other governments who are weary can know we are not sharing our data with the Chinese.
Mayer also said TikTok will reveal how its algorithms work, calling on rivals to do the same.
With all of this that is taking place, what is the reaction of the content creators? Because they're in between the US government and TikTok.
Well, there's been an uproar. There has even been a change.org petition that has been signed by thousands of these content creators, even TikTokers, right? They don't want it to go because this is how they make their livelihood.
Right.
This is how they get paid, right, to make 15-second videos. Hey, so if this goes, you know, my money flow is going to also be gone as well. And my creative way of thinking and presenting my material is going to go as well. There's also some are even trying to join another version of TikTok, an Americanized version of TikTok called Byte, I believe it is, right? And even Instagram, some are also want to join this Instagram's version of TikTok. I believe it's called Reels.
Reels, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, these are the things that are, you know, transpiring right now as TikTok looms on the verge of being banned by the Trump administration.
Right, and the content creators, they are really on edge because of this. I mean, even in LA, they have whole houses called TikTok houses where content creators actually live together and collaborate just to make videos. So what would happen if their main source of income, creating content on TikTok, goes away? What are they going to do? So people are really up in arms about this whole situation. I mean, even because TikTok is so big and some of these content creators have garnered in so much money, whole management companies have been formed just to manage them.
Yeah, it's a very, very lucrative job, as you may say.
Some of TikTok's biggest stars are now roommates in the wildly popular Hype House in Los Angeles. They include Nick Austin, Addison Rae, Avani Gregg, Kovra Anand, Alex Warren, Chase Hudson, and Thomas Petrov.
It's a content house. It'd be like living in a movie set. It never stops.
This group of 20 talented content creators is part of a growing trend of young social media stars snapping up big real estate so they can physically be together to make videos 24/7.
These content creators are called influencers. And in our society, they have a lot more power and sway over this generation. Remember what sparked calls for the Aunt Jemima brand to be changed? It was because of a TikTok video by popular musician Kirby speaking out against the origins of Aunt Jemima. It was TikTok users and K-pop fans who were also responsible for the lack of attendance at Trump's rally in Tulsa on June 20th. They registered thousands of tickets for the rally and decided not to show. They spread the trend on TikTok, telling other people to do the same, which resulted in the rally having a smaller than average attendance. The pursuit of fame and the drive to be an influencer is so strong that a teen killed his neighbor for fame on TikTok.
With that said, what is the significance of all of this?
Well, when you look at TikTok specifically and even other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, these platforms, these social media platforms are made up of influencers, right? All of these influencers, these are the pushers, the movers of society today. And when you think about it, these young people, they're either influencers or they're following influencers, right? Which is very interesting. And we spend so much time on social media because we, not only as a generation, but we as young people, it gives us satisfaction, right? It gives us a sense of purpose that our lives mean something. And that's why there's so much effort being pumped into these platforms, even TikTok.
That's true. And, you know, we have moved away as a generation from interpersonal relationships, not just with others, but even with God. And so we're on our phone so much, on social media, and the likes, the shares, the views, all of these things trigger a dopamine response in our brain. And we just enjoy it so much that without it, if it was taken away, what would we do? How would we spend our day? And the issue is we have become so engrossed in ourselves that we want to make ourselves or our friends go viral, this video go viral. But what about making Jesus go viral?
In Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 13, the Bible gives us a principle that God's desire for each one of us is to be the head and not the tail. And that essentially means that we are called to be leaders in our own right? We are called to be, as it were, gospel influencers in this generation. We should be the ones leading out, and not necessarily leading out, but calling people to the love, to the mercy, to the truth of Jesus Christ. When you think of an individual rather, of a, who was very influential in his time, you think of Solomon.
Oh yes.
Right? What was Solomon's life? What did he look like, right? When you think of Solomon's wisdom, which he received from God, he was an influencer at his time, right? In his time, he was an influencer. And when you think of all the people, the Bible tells us that the whole earth, right? Even the Queen of Sheba specifically came to see and hear the wisdom of Solomon.
That's right.
Came to see what kind of influence he had, and they left impressed, right? And the wisdom that he received was of God. So, I mean, we are called to be gospel influencers. And Solomon, he had his 15 seconds of TikTok fame, but it spread far and wide.
Even more than 15 seconds.
Even more, right?
And when you go to the New Testament, you look at the woman at the well. When she had that encounter with Christ, in less than a day, she was able to experience Jesus Christ and then share it with others. A whole city was won to Jesus because of her testimony. We should also have that same drive, that same desire, not to make ourselves or our friends go viral, but make Jesus and his truth spread throughout the entire world. And don't forget the words of Matthew chapter 24, verse number 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We'll see you next time.